Hi everyone, welcome to Wellsome, a podcast where wellness meets self-development. I am Vicky, and in each episode we're gonna dive deep into real conversation about personal growth. So in today's episode, first of all, I just want to say I'm super excited because I have a very, very special guest. Is Trish Diez, and is not only like a therapist and a belief coach, but it's my therapist. And I'm so proud because it's the first time that I see her live. And I've been coaching with Trish since maybe a couple of months already.
Yeah.
And the reason why I invite her to come to the podcast is because she gave me so much wisdom and she helped me so much. And I really wanted actually to have her on board because I'm sure that through the episode that we're recording together, she can deliver powerful messages to you guys as well. So in specific, in this today's episode, we're going to talk about a very juicy topic, which is relationships, but not only relationships, we're talking about honesty in relationships. So first of all, Trish, I'm so happy. You know how happy I am to see you physically finally. And I just wanted to introduce you and ask you, how did you become a life and belief coach and a therapist? Because I actually never asked you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thank you for having me. And I love seeing you in person. You're
course.
even more beautiful in person
Thank
than
you
you
so
are on
much.
camera,
You
Vicky.
too, actually.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. But yeah, I am a belief coach. I say I'm a belief coach because it's a far cry from being a life coach, the typical life coach.
Yeah.
And the way I got here was because I had had a very turbulent beginning to my life, and so consequently had made decisions following that turbulence that led me into some very dark, juicy, difficult situations that I got myself out of, luckily, and step by step realized as an adult, a young mother actually with 2 kids, full-time work, that I really wanted to study psychology. So I did, and I studied for 12 years in all, getting a bachelor's and a master's under my belt, with my kids, with a full-time job and all that sort of thing. So it took real dedication, but every step of the way I was able to do some supervision, some training, some residential schools and things like that. And I just became more and more passionate. So that led me more into a field of wanting to work with people and how they tick. And you know, I started to talk to HR departments and absenteeism, why, but let's not punish them. Let's find out why they're absent, what's going on. And then they became their better self, you know. So from there, I then decided that it was maybe a slow process. I couldn't imagine myself going for many, many years through a clinical path. So I decided that I would, well, actually, it chose me. It fell into my lap. I found this beautiful process of challenging and questioning your beliefs. And when you question your beliefs, you break free of the mental trap that we've been in, that we don't even realize we're in until the chains are broken open. We don't even realize that we were chained up. And it's such a beautiful feeling. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced that in our sessions where all of a sudden the penny just drops and you think, oh, yeah, I get it.
It's just like enlightening. So like you feel like there's light coming and you feel like, wow, this is how it is.
And everything opens, everything, you expand into this field of consciousness that really takes you out of this egoic state of, I think I know what I'm talking about, when really we don't have a clue most of the time.
Most of the time,
But it certainly helps us to become more humble. You know, I know that I've been, you know, I win the medal in being egoic. So, you know, I've been a pain in the neck a lot of my life, and I probably still am to some, because that's their business, that's what they think.
Of course.
But I can see where I've been tricky and difficult because I was believing what I was thinking. And a lot of it was blaming, shaming, you know, projection. And so this work saved me, which made me a safer person to be around, a more pleasant person to be around, and others. And I haven't stopped. And my business is word of mouth. So it's got to be doing, it's my invitation to keep going because unless people stop asking me, I'm going to keep going. You know?
I love that. And actually it's true, word of mouth, because I've heard of you from my friend and I referred you to another friend. So it's so powerful that actually you find your purpose out of like a moment of, let's say, crisis. Because in a moment where you were struggling or you were like trying to look for your path, you find your purpose. And a lot of people in wellness, this is something that I said also in the previous podcast, they find the purpose and they want to pursue a career in health, wellness, mental health after a very, very tough moment. It happened to me as well, and I love to hear this story actually. And I've never asked you, so I'm happy that I did now. So in today's episode, we're diving deep into a topic that I'm sure everyone can resonate, which is relationship. But as I mentioned and as we discussed, we want to touch base the honesty in relationships. But before diving deep into the honest topic, I feel that nowadays, especially, everyone is struggling to have relationships. And why do you think it's that hard nowadays to have healthy relationship? And what do you think it's the main ingredients to differentiate between a healthy and unhealthy relationship?
Great questions. For a start, I think I agree with you given the number of clients that I receive who want to work on relationships and the ever-increasing number.
Yeah.
There's definitely a visible increase in difficulties in relationships. And I think also, depending on where you might live, it could also play a factor, because relationships are not in a vacuum. The two people are not on their own in that relationship. They often have family or friends or work or children, and also their environment. So but one of the main issues, I really believe, is that the techno-capitalism that we're experiencing in social media is taking a toll on humanity, on the individual. Because 40 years ago, statistics will show us that we had a minimum of 10 very good friends. And today the statistics are saying that we have 0.9 good friends.
Oof.
And so our phones and our screens are making us close in.
Yeah.
We no longer look for people to be with because it's tough. We have to negotiate, we have to compromise, we have to listen, we have to give, we have to take, we have to actually show up. We have to develop those relationship skills no matter what the level of relationship is. And we're not used to it because we're getting our gratification from our phone. So we're actually closing ourselves down. Another statistic for you is that the number of animal shelters in certain parts of the world, in the western part of the world, have increased, and the number of homeless shelters have decreased.
Oh,
so we're
interesting.
caring less and less about each other.
Yeah.
And we're projecting our love and our needs onto animals, which I'm all for, by the way. I'm an animal lover.
Yeah.
But there's no balance there. We're easily able to turn our back on someone, but we will pick up a stray dog or a stray cat.
Yeah, I'm not shocked about the statistic, because I know a lot of my friends actually that they decided to be single because for them it was too tough to get every time in a relationship and be heartbroken. And we have fun about it, and they're saying like, okay, you know what, I think I'm gonna end with my dog, I think I'm gonna marry my cat, I think you know what, I'm not interested to go out, I rather stay home with my dog or with my cat and watch a movie. Which from one side, as you said, it's beautiful, because I mean, we all tend to care about animals, and that's amazing. On the other side, I feel we're stepping into solitude, and we're not really putting ourselves out anymore as we used to before.
Well, given all of the examples that you've mentioned as to why people have decided to do that, this is trauma related.
Yeah.
And it's important to mark the point that whatever has happened in our life does not define us. Now, we've heard this before. Many times people will say this doesn't define you. But think about that. It doesn't define you. If you've had a very bad ride in a relationship, a really bad experience in a relationship, that relationship does not define you. And yet, as I'm a belief coach, we look at all of the beliefs that came out of that experience about ourselves. Why would I be wanting to isolate? What am I afraid of?
Yeah.
What do I think will happen? I'm living in the past or the future. Past or the future. I'm not even present whenever I might meet someone who's quite nice and wanting to have a conversation. It's already, oh no, I know what you're up to. I've experienced that before and I don't want it again.
Yeah.
So we're not present in any situation. And I think that the difficulty comes in when we've isolated ourselves for a certain length of time. It's very hard to now get back out there, you know?
Yeah. And what do you think it's the main ingredient or the main, let's say the main sign of unhealthy relationship and healthy relationship? Like, let's say I'm a listener who is dating a person and I can spot already like the red flag, let's call it red flags, green flags. Which are, for example, in your opinion, the main green flag and the main red flag? Like an example.
Well, I think that one of the big red flags is that you will do A to get to B or A to get to C. Hang on, let me see what I'm thinking about here.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's almost like we're going to manipulate the situation to get what we want.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I don't feel like I'm okay, if I'm good enough, or if I haven't got the best body, or if I haven't got a great job, or if I'm not appealing enough, then I'm going to manipulate the situation to cover that up.
Yeah.
Do funny things that don't really work for me. Do things that aren't really right for me. Say yes when I mean no and no when I mean yes, and go out when I don't want to, and, you know, don't mention things when I really need to.
Yeah.
So despite what that sounds like, that's manipulation of our environment and of ourselves to fit into that with that person to get what we want, which is validation and love.
Yeah.
But we're showing up as fake versions of ourselves from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we can't turn the rules around midway of the game.
Yeah.
We can't just all of a sudden say, well, you know what, that person I've been for the last 3 months, she doesn't actually exist.
Yes.
You know, I really want to just stay home and watch Netflix and have a pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And actually, this leads us to the topic of honesty, because as we said before, honesty is gonna be like the main topic of the episode, and I want to really dive deep into this with you. And how do you think honesty will play a major role in entering in a relationship in the best way?
Oh, it's everything. Let's be clear. It's not. It's not. You know, alien honesty to the point where we say, you know, the crazy things like, I don't like your shoes, or I don't like your, you know, why you. Why,
it's not an excuse to be rude.
Yes, it's not an excuse to be rude. It's not something like calling people out on things or telling them. Sometimes we can confuse honesty with, you know, setting people straight. Well, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
That we need to set people straight to be honest. I think it's. The honesty comes from me about me. That's the honesty.
Yeah.
It's the honesty about me to you, how I'm feeling in this moment, and what would stop me from being honest with you.
Yeah.
What would stop me? That's what I look at, the beliefs that are stopping us from being honest. So in all of my client sessions, there's always going to be a moment where they'll say, oh no, I couldn't say that.
Okay.
And I'll think, why not? What are you afraid of happening? What will happen?
Yeah.
And if it's the eventual breakup, wow, can this one thing break your relationship up?
Yeah.
You know, how did it get to that? And then we unpick that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So whatever we're not wanting to do or say for the fear of losing something or not getting what we want, which is the guy or the girl, those are the things that we look at and we see, is it really true what I'm thinking in the first place?
Yeah.
You know, because we only feel stress and anxiety in any situation for two reasons, just two, no matter who we are, across cultures and religions and traditions and languages and genders. We only feel stress and anxiety and suffering for two reasons. One of them is we're not getting what we want and we're afraid of losing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you think about that, if you're not getting what you want, okay, he doesn't want to go out, you do. So you're all looking gorgeous and you've come over to his place and now he just wants to sit down and watch the rugby or the football.
Yeah.
Well, you're not getting what you want. You want to go out and look great with him and have a great time with him. And you're afraid of losing him if you speak up.
Yeah, by saying no.
So this beautiful, amazing creature who walks into his house, sits on the sofa and doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But she wants to,
Yeah.
but he doesn't. And that's okay.
Yeah.
So at what point, at what point in the relationship do we take that turn? Okay, I'm going to just lose myself a bit more,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because what's the harm in saying to him, I don't want to stay here. If you want to stay, I support you 100%. I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great
But
point.
I can feel people watching this that going, oh no, I could never
Oh
do that.
no, I would never do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's too early. It's too early. Well,
Yeah.
what's too early? How early?
The earliest, the better, guys.
How
it comes
early?
from experience.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah, because you're not showing up as you, and it's open to discussion, right? You
Yeah.
could say, are you sure you want to stay in? Are you absolutely sure you want to stay in, or do you think it'd be nice to go out? Do you feel at all like going out? Maybe if we go out in half an hour or an hour, what do you think about that? And if he says a flat no, I'm not going anywhere today. Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then off you go. We don't have to bash him up or sulk or punish him or call him names or
Yeah.
write messages about him while he's sitting next to
Yeah.
me. You know, we live our life.
Yeah, you just acknowledge that and then eventually take the decision to, at least you acknowledge. But do you think that, let's call it not being honest, but let's say our fear to be perceived as we are, does it come from, let's say, insecurity or trauma? Or do you think this is something that everyone has the tendency to, do when we, especially at the beginning when you enter in a relationship or when you're dating? So do you see this as a pattern for people that feels a little bit insecure, maybe they have trauma, or do you see this in mostly everyone at the beginning?
I don't think it is in everybody. I don't.
Yeah.
I think there are certain people who are very confident about themselves, not cocky, not brash, not arrogant, but confident about
Yeah.
themselves, and they're able to walk into a room or be a part of a situation without those insecurities and feel very confident about. And they don't need alcohol or drugs or anything to come out into their own. They are very naturally comfortable with themselves and therefore with others. And they may have done some work or maybe they haven't, but they may have had a very, very structured, caring, open, understanding and free childhood where they were loved for being who they are. There are many stages in childhood that need attention, and if we don't get some of them, that will reflect in our adulthood. Those who don't feel confident could very well have been told, as innocently as possible. I mean, some of our parents did their very, very best, didn't know how to do it any better, were considered really great parents anyway. I'm not here to bash your parents, but we do nevertheless take messages away from what's going on in our parents' lives, how they treat us, how they treat themselves. If you want to avoid your children having eating disorders, watch what you're eating.
Yeah.
Watch what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? So, children just soak things up. So it could be well enough just simply the fact that if you were a very talented little girl and wanted to sing and dance and your parents were academics, right?
Yeah.
They were, lawyers and doctors and scientists and professors, and they were thinking, not until hell freezes over is my daughter going to be an artist.
Yeah.
Well, guess what you're going to hear? Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it, Tricia. Sit down. Stop it. Stop singing, Tricia. Go and do your homework. And yes, it's very good. That's very cute. But no, we don't do that in this family.
Yeah.
So little by little, that creative spark in us gets crushed down.
Absolutely.
And eventually, when we want it to grow, we think, oh my God, I'm going to be rejected by the very people who love us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all these things can come into place. That's why it's very interesting when we get into a relationship and we're speaking about honesty. It's not like the first date. You sit down and say, sit down, where were you on the 26th of March, 1973? It's more like, so how do you get on with your family? What's going on in your family? And if there's I don't talk to him and I don't talk to her, or I don't know where she is, then there's a disconnect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And already we're disconnected in the moment with this social media thing that I was referring to. So trying to connect again is quite tricky.
True.
If you mention, okay, how did you get on with your family and everything, and let's say it's a guy, since we're both women, he says, I've got a great relationship with my mum and dad. They've been married 45 years. He's got a different model running,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
So, your childhood shows up in your adulthood. Your childhood shows up in your relationship.
Yeah.
And it's not about interrogating. It's about listening and being open to hearing all of it. People say, I'm really, oh gosh, I'm so open-minded. Oh, but don't talk about that. No, we're not going to talk about that. No, I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Am I open-minded?
Yeah.
This is the honesty.
Yeah.
If I say to my partner, you can tell me anything. And then he says, well, I actually took a girl's number when I went out, and you go nuts.
Yeah.
Clearly you can't tell him anything.
Yeah, you can't take it. Yeah.
He can't tell you just anything.
Yeah.
You have to walk the walk.
Yeah,
if you're going to talk
absolutely,
the talk.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And now, by the way, what she said, it's so true. And actually, I am still remembering one of the first sessions that I had with Trish. And she said, she used this amazing metaphor about the garden. And she said to me, let's say you're planting strawberries, and the other person is planting, I don't know, like peaches. Like, why would you leave your garden? Why would you leave your strawberries uncovered to go plant, the peaches? Because eventually the strawberries are gonna die.
Yeah, you go home to nothing.
You go home to nothing.
He's eating a whole garden of peaches.
Exactly. So the best way is just maybe make another garden where you plant peaches, strawberries, and maybe something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But you always keep your business, as we say, clean to yourself, so that you can, who you are. One of the main things is that we do better in relationships when we have a sense of self. And so staying in your own garden, to use that analogy, helps you to grow that sense of self. It's not a given.
Yeah.
We need to work on it. We need to reestablish it. We need to remember who we are.
Yeah.
And that takes a little bit of work sometimes.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be years and years. It can be more to the point.
I'm sure that you have seen the difference between a person who enters in a relationship with honesty and a person that eventually is trying to adapt herself or himself to the situation. How do you see the two things going? Have you seen like a difference in the pattern that they're embarking in the journeys? Because I am not sure if the second case is going to be a successful one. Like just adapting yourself to a point that you're losing yourself completely. I don't think that this would never work in any case. But I just want to hear your opinion as a therapist, because I'm sure you have seen so many cases. And also I want the listener to, understand that probably is never a good idea, and how can they shift from one side to another?
Another great question. I think that the important thing here is the very first question I ask my couples in a session, the first session, is, how invested are you in this relationship for it to work? Where are you at the moment? How much do you really want to invest? Now, if they've left it a long time to actually say, okay, we're sinking here, they may be at 40% or 30%, which is crushing to hear for the other partner. Yeah. Because, when you're in the room, you'd like to think that your partner says, oh, I'm 100% on board, I want this to work. But when they're done and tired and worn out, and they have reason to feel, angry and sad and resentful and all the rest, they may not be anywhere near the 50% mark. Yeah. So the first step is, well, how much do you really want to get this on track? And from there, we know what we're looking at, what we're playing with. Yeah. And the way I work is to ask them to complete a worksheet with their thoughts, okay? And as I question those thoughts, you cannot hide. Yeah. It catches you out. It's not for the faint-hearted. Yeah. It's not for the people who want to talk themselves out of faking it. Yeah. So if you really want the truth, your own truth, if you really want to be free of all of the mess that we create for ourselves through what we're thinking and saying and carrying out these actions, then this is the work for you. Because I watch them in the couple sessions, to answer your question, and I can see her
Yeah.
You know, like, whoa, this is incredible. And him going, oh, how the hell do I get out of here?
Oh my
So,
God.
you know, or vice versa. It doesn't mean it doesn't happen the other way. But in a couple session, I can see, and usually they don't come back initially, she might or he might on his
Yeah.
own, because someone gets in the car and says, that was terrible.
That's uncomfortable.
That's not right. No, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all, because they were getting closer to having to tell the truth.
Wow.
Because you can't hide.
No, you can't. Yeah.
It's your own thoughts giving you away.
Yeah. So we can say that as long as you can hide at the beginning, then eventually.
It'll fall. It'll get the better of you. If you hide yourself from the beginning, there are three options. One is you die in that relationship. You get sick and die
Yeah.
with an autoimmune or something like that.
Yeah.
Because that's how the body reacts when you betray it over and over.
Yeah.
Okay. Second option is that you stay together, but you live completely separate lives. You stay together for whatever reason, kids, money. You can't stand the thought that you're going to, maybe religious reasons, maybe family pressure, culture. You stay together, but you have nothing to do with each other anymore.
Yeah.
And the third option is that you get out fast when it's really not able to be honest. And the fourth option, actually, there are four, is that you really do the work. And boy, that's a relationship to hold on to.
Yeah.
Because if you've already gone into that area where you've been lying and hiding and, you know, lying to yourself more, you know, and of course, if you're lying to yourself, you're lying to everybody. But if you're hiding that true version of yourself and you don't know how to get out of it and now you don't know what to do, and if you do the work on that in that relationship, that is the relationship you want, because you've got practice every day with your partner to take what you learn in the work that you do and get better at things.
Do you think that the partner plays a role in putting yourself in a condition where you need to be dishonest with yourself, or do you think that everything comes from us? And
everything comes from us. Everything is internal. It's an inside job. It's my perception of you. It's my interpretation of you. You may well be someone who, let's say, for instance, this is an example I have with a client right now. He has become very spiritual.
Yeah.
It's just happened. He's had experiences, he's had feelings, he's had incredible situations happen. And I've sort of said, wow, you know. So we've been talking about it and it's been very interesting for him, and he's become very emotional about it because it's a very spiritual experience, you know. Yeah. And he's feeling this expansion, and he doesn't want to be doing his usual job anymore. I mean, it's a big thing.
Yeah, big change.
A big change. And it started from personal development, by the way, because all of a sudden he saw that he was sacrificing himself for everybody and he wasn't looking after himself at all. He was over in that peach garden and not at all looking after him. Yeah. And these little steps made him think, hang on a minute, I'm here, I exist. Yeah. I deserve some love myself.
Yeah.
So as he grew and he had these experiences, he just flourished. And his partner said, that's a load of rubbish. I don't want to hear anything about that. I'm not interested. Oh, don't tell me one more thing. I'm sick of listening to you. Oh my God, if you say one more thing, where do you go with that?
Yeah.
So we work together, he and I, because of course it only takes one person to make a change.
Yeah.
Okay. And that change can either take you out of the relationship or it can help the relationship stay.
Yeah.
That's not my job to say which is the best, but it happens whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And so we worked together on him being able to speak honestly and openly, and he was shut down, and eventually it became not only the spirituality that started to become clear that they were on different pages or in different gardens, but many other things.
Yeah.
And so once she had an opportunity to say that about spirituality, she then said, and by the way, and so out she came in her true self after having hidden all of that for quite a while.
Yeah.
And he came out also in his true self, which was developing, and they were no longer suited.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
You know, relationships don't have to be forever. They really can be a stepping stone for us to just grow and heal and do better.
Yeah.
Become better people, become better versions of ourselves.
Yeah. And how much is important to have the same, I don't want to say the same path because everyone has his own journey, but I do feel that it's very, very important to grow together. Otherwise, you may grow apart.
Well, if you don't grow together, then that's why you're together, so that you can learn that you're not going to grow together and you're not going to be together. And your lesson comes from how to adapt to being out of that relationship, and how do you break that relationship without, trying to kill each other, because that's just a reactive, emotional way of projecting our inabilities onto someone else.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I mean,
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And you get better and better at it, actually, with practice.
Absolutely.
But by the same token, I think that a relationship can also help to heal if you've got the right, well, all of them are actually healing, because even if you lose who you call the love of your life, clearly that's not the case. And reality will show you that.
Yeah.
The fantasy in the mind will be saying, but he was the love of my life. But actually he wasn't, because reality is saying he's gone. And for the time you were together, absolutely he was the love of your life. I mean, what is this future faking that we do to ourselves?
Yeah. So do you have any specific recommendation for people that are entering in a relationship and maybe they know that they have the tendency to be a little bit like people pleasers or to just manipulate their reality to be liked? What would you recommend to them?
Slow down. Really slow down. Spend some time on your own, whatever that means. Some time on your own to just breathe and slow down and divert your focus, which is constantly on the other, back onto yourself, and do a check-in. If you are unwell, you don't send him in your place. You go to the doctor. You go and get yourself checked out. And if you're not doing well here, no one can do this for you. Only you can do it. So it's really a matter of asking yourself some pretty clear questions, what I'm thinking about me. I can't leave. I can't manage on my own. This is the way it's going to be. I mean, we're only in our 30s. How's it going to be in 10 years' time if this is the way we are? Blah, 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 all those sorts of questions. If you ask yourself those questions and say, is that even true? Am I imagining all of that? Because you're not there. You're in an imaginary world.
Yeah.
And the reality is here. So, the reality is he's sitting on a sofa. That's reality, not the images in your head of what you think is disastrous or terrible or painful or will be shocking or unbearable. That's not happening.
Yeah.
There he is. So if you're wanting to talk about your lives together, there he is.
Yeah.
Go talk to him.
Yeah.
And just say, I'm needing to talk through some stuff and I have no answers.
Yeah.
But let's see how we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not claiming to know anything.
Yeah. So I assume that we can resume this by saying that, first of all, you need to take time for yourself and get to know yourself as well. Because you can be, I assume, very, very honest with people when you know exactly who you are and what you want.
Absolutely. 100% well wrapped up. I really think that once you know yourself, that's why spending time on your own is really critical. You listen to yourself. Are you hungry? Are you tired? Are you thirsty? Are you coping with sadness that may have come up a few days ago? Are you okay with feeling the rejection from work? Are you okay with, whatever's going on? Get to know yourself. Get to feel, and they're feelings. Feelings don't mean they're facts.
Yeah,
It's not
powerful
truth.
one.
It's not truth. It's feelings. And yes, they're a part of the human experience. And who would we be without feelings? We'd be AI. We'd be robots. So let's not do that. Let's love these feelings. They're there for a reason, but they are feelings. They're not facts.
That's a powerful one to say. Absolutely. Because sometimes we get lost from, I would say also fantasize things and fantasize reality. I'm the master of it, by the way. Like I don't know, I see things that are just in my mind, but then the reality is completely different. So coming back from the question, I think from what you said, it's first of all, listen to yourself, to your needs, and get to know you first before getting to know someone else, maybe, or maybe at the same time, I guess. And second, also, just try to step in with as much honesty as you can and try to see if it fits, and without being scared, actually, I assume. But sometimes we're scared
yes,
to be
very
seen.
fearful. We're fearful of not getting what we want or losing something. So if we think that we're going to be, I've worked on this belief myself, and I've worked on it several times because it keeps coming back. It's a very powerful subconscious belief that if I speak my truth, I'll be rejected.
Yeah.
If I'm my true self, I'll be on my own and alone. And then the mind very quickly takes us to death, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's not a nice picture, but just notice how much we're in the past or the future, and we're not even here. We're zombies. We are addicted to the past and future, literally addicted. It's like lab rats. Give me a past, give me a future. Okay, I'll get you some depression and some anxiety in that case, because right here in this moment, what could possibly be wrong?
True.
What could possibly be the problem? I have maybe a man sitting on the sofa watching the TV, and I'm sitting here. What's the problem?
Yeah.
The real problem. And if you're wanting to go out, then that's listen, honey, I want to go out. And he says, oh, I don't want to. Okay, then, darling, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But if you think, oh, no, and the last time, you see, we're back in the past. Yes, but then there we are in the future. So stay present and see how you go.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit more than that, a little bit more understanding. But these are pretty important things. Stay present, stay in your own business, stay in your own lane.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you've seen so many, let's say, so many flowers blooming. This is a great metaphor to, express how people, maybe after they did the work with you, they became more honest with themselves. And then eventually they just got what they want, and they did jump into serious relationship with more awareness and consciousness. So can you describe us, can you tell us some examples of clients that you've seen that once they really embrace their true honesty, they just bloom? Just to give our
100%.
listener the practical, experience.
Absolutely. Well, one of the greatest examples I can give you is when I was working with a client who really had trouble saying no. I mean, we all have trouble saying no for some reason. It's the biggest word in the dictionary.
Yeah.
It means so much. Oh my God, no. Oh no, now what's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
So it's full of fear to say no. I can't say no, especially when I've been doing it for so long. How do I say no now?
Yeah.
Which is why I was saying earlier, it's difficult to change the rules of the game midway.
Yeah.
Set out the way you want to finish.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's very tricky.
Yeah.
So saying no is, when I do little workshops, I spend a day on no. And it's incredible. So I had this client who couldn't say no to his wife for anything that she wanted to buy, couldn't say no to his kids for whatever they wanted to do, couldn't say no at work, so was working extended hours, couldn't say no to family who wanted him to always travel home for holidays and never go anywhere else. Really, he was a lovely, kind, generous, loving man who turned into a depressed, small, anxious version of himself because over the years he could not say no. And I met him when he was completely addicted to alcohol.
Wow.
And so we talked about what was bothering him, and he talked about his wife, and then he talked about his kids, and then he talked about his family. And as we worked through it, he was able to learn how to say no and not die from it, not actually feel like he was going to die if he said no, or kill them. I mean, I know that's a very, tough term to say, but that's how much fear comes up.
Yeah.
Right. So we practiced. We did role plays even. No, thank you for asking me if I can give you some money. No, and ask me again tomorrow. Maybe I'll change my mind. So that you can ease into it. Or, this is very hard for me.
Yeah.
And the answer's no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just leave it at that. No.
I guess it's also like exercise. It's not going to come immediately, but you need to train your mind and your words.
That's why the role play is fantastic, because you get to use it in the session so much. And I'm the perfect, I'm the perfect person on the opposite end saying, but you said, because I've lived like that, stomping my feet and my fists.
Yeah.
So, you act out all these options, and he gets better and better at saying no. And guess what? All of a sudden he didn't feel like he was the doormat or being taken for granted or just dad who has the money or or, or spending the family pension because his wife wants yet another business or whatever was going on for him. It was actually, a man who, once he started feeling that self-worth and that self-esteem and just being able to say, no, I love you, and no. Because money, in this circumstance, it was a lot of money and some time, does not mean love.
Yeah.
Money's not love. So you're not going to ever stop loving them just because you don't give them money. And if they stop loving you, well, I doubt that for a start. It's not possible to not love someone that you're involved with like
Absolutely.
that. It's just not possible. They can be angry for a while, but some people are even afraid of their loved ones being angry.
Yeah.
And yet anger is a perfectly natural emotion.
Yeah.
And it leads to conversation and maybe argument. There's no harm in having an argument.
Yeah.
It can clear the air and you can get a different place to start from.
And I assume that this guy, after, all the work that you've been doing together, he was a completely different.
1 year and he's not even drinking. We didn't even talk about alcohol. We never addressed alcohol.
Wow.
I didn't even know in the beginning that he was as addicted to alcohol as he was. Didn't have a clue. But everything just calmed down. So he stopped reaching out. I got on a call with him only about 3 weeks ago and he said, I haven't had a drink for 2 months. And I went,
Wow.
Yeah. And all we were doing were, we were working on how to be honest with people, really honest. I don't feel comfortable giving you that money.
Yeah.
I'd rather not give you that money. So no.
Yeah.
And I understand this is important for you. And no, I won't be giving you the money.
Yeah.
And then wait and see if the world keeps turning.
Yeah.
And if they still turn up for dinner and maybe they won't. Maybe they'll stay in their bedroom if they're kids and sulk for a while. And that's okay. Kids sulk.
Can we also say that being honest, it's a great defense and it just pull away the people that really don't like you for who you are?
It does that. It eliminates the people who want you to take care of them and not you.
Yeah.
And energetically, that can be very draining, and that's why we don't say no, because we're afraid of losing something so much that we want to hold on to that.
Yeah.
I'll do everything for you to keep you, and then eventually you just burn out and say, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then you see them turn. So, those people can leave your life, but not because they get annoyed with you, but because you don't want to be in their energy anymore. You don't want to be around. It's too much.
Yeah.
You just want to go back to your strawberries, and while you're in your strawberries, they're coming over trying to stomp on them,
Yeah.
So eventually you move away and you plant somewhere else,
Yeah.
But also another thing that happens is things don't bother you as much because you're honest with yourself and you attract the right people. The right people come in. And it's very attractive to be sure of yourself. Yeah. Very attractive to be clear and sure of yourself. To not manipulate with all the, look, I know that you really want to go, and you look so lovely, and I'm sure that you would have a great time, but I really don't think, oh my God, it's just exhausting. And you're manipulating.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, no, I don't want to go. Thank you. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And just wait and see. It sounds alien because we're not used to it. Yeah. But it is a really critical part of our relationships, just to be honest and say, we get very close physically to people.
Yeah.
It's critical to be able to say to the person who is the closest to us physically, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, I get it, but not with me. And because I'm monogamous, I'm inviting you to go somewhere else if you need it, if you need that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I don't hate you. You're not a bad person. I'm not thinking badly of you. I just don't do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And last question for you. I just want to invite people to, in case that they feel that, I don't know, maybe they're insecure, maybe there's something they want to work on themselves, to approach therapy and approach like a session or a conversation with a coach. Because to be honest, guys, it was so powerful for me, even though, I'm a health and life coach myself, but Trish is a therapist as well, but we're all humans at the end. So even coaches need coaches,
I need a coach.
Absolutely.
I need sessions.
Absolutely. So in today's episode, I really want to convey the message that in order for us to be honest and express our own potential and our true self, if in case we're struggling with it, I think therapy is the best way to start, I guess.
Yeah, I I wish I had have known what I was trained in when I was in my 20s. And I'm so glad that I do know now, because now my daughters, who are in their 20s and early 30s, know what I know now.
Yeah.
So their lives are enviable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're enviable. My eldest daughter, 32, when she met her amazing partner, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, she asked some questions pretty much on the first or second date, really gently. She has a beautiful, gentle energy, and
Yeah.
she's a very kind, wonderful, and I'm not at all biased, woman. And she's beautiful soul inside and out. She's just a lovely woman. She said to her new partner, she said, how do you manage your emotions?
Oof.
And she waited for his reply, and she went, oh, that's very interesting. And they elaborated a bit, they talked a bit, and then she said, and how do you manage other people's emotions?
Wow. Was he scared of this question?
No, he just answered. But this is how you do your filtering, right?
Yeah.
So
You
he
test.
he just answered. And then she said, and when's the last time you cried?
Oof.
And he said, this was actually probably, to be fair, was probably about date 4, and they saw each other pretty much every day the first week and had picnics because it's sunshine, and it's in France, and so they had picnics down by the water. He's a fantastic guy, loves nature. She's the same. So they had evening picnics and stuff like that. And she said, when was the last time you cried? And he said, this morning.
Oh, wow.
And she said, oh,
Yeah.
wow, can I ask you why? And he said, yes, I heard from my father, and I haven't heard from him for years.
Wow.
And she talked about it. He got emotional.
Yeah.
They talked about it. She was listening.
And
She
I
was
guess they
open.
bond even more.
So curious.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
Yeah.
When you think you know something already, you're not going to even wait for the person to finish their sentence. You're going to finish it for them. Or you're not going to ask any further questions because you think you know. We don't know anything. Be curious.
Yeah.
Open your mind up. And how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
And is that the first time that's ever happened? And what did you think about that? Did you think about that in the day? And, just opening up and
Yeah.
talking about things that are important in a couple.
Yeah.
If you think about what a couple is, it's an opportunity to be there for each other.
Yeah.
So if you can't be there in conversation, people say our problem is communication. Well, let me tell you, everything is communication. Everything. If I'm saying it's white and you're saying it's black, and we're arguing, that's not lack of communication. That's very strong communication.
Yeah.
And we need to change something, because it's like saying, my religion's mine and your religion's yours. You don't change someone's religion in the moment, right?
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Yeah.
We've had religious wars forever.
Yeah.
And they do not work, because you cannot change someone's belief in the moment. So there's no point in getting angry and wanting to hurt and wanting to be vicious and mean, because it's not going to get you anything.
Yeah.
Nor is being sweet and sugary and trying to manipulate that way.
Yeah.
Nothing will change someone's belief systems unless they want to change them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you listen and you get curious, and then you make your decisions.
Yeah. 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 That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, guys, so I think we can talk for this topic for hours, but I think that we got the best out of it, and especially I think I think we shared pretty much everything when it comes to relationship and honesty, and how to navigate, and how to be curious, and how to get to know yourself, etc. So I'm very happy about this episode and this conversation, and I'm sure you guys are gonna love that. By the way, comment down below and tell us if you have any experience or what you think about honesty, if you have ever been honest in a relationship, or if you have experienced dishonesty. I've been there, done that, and I'm sure even Trish in the past. So
got the
you're
t-shirt.
not alone. Actually, we would love to have like an open conversation with you guys. And Trish, thank you so much for your wisdom.
You're welcome. I hope I landed on something for you.
Yes, absolutely. I've been loving our conversation. And guys, see you on the next episode.